We are back. What day are we on? 16, summer 16, which is 30, 50, 44? Day 44, 16 plus 28 is 44. Day 44. Let's listen to this real quick while I'm playing.
This is completely wiping all player progression from the live service going. Airship Syndicate has recently come out with an announcement that they will be restructuring the entire game from a live service into a single-player, peer-to-peer co-op game. I mean, that's kind of how it was already. In the Steam community post, they state the changes, and that they will be abolishing the live service model and moving them into a single-player model and compensate founders by turning their pledge into a simple cosmetics currency. The founders over Discord are rightfully livid over this attempt of scam. The pricing of the packs range from $150, $90, and $150. We backed an MMO, and the developers are turning a 180 and delivering a single-player game instead. The packs offered features like multiple season passes in advance, currency to purchase in-game characters, as well as a plethora of cosmetics that only made sense for an MMO. Isn't this company like shutting down? No, their publisher dropped them. Wayfinder had one of the shittiest launches in the game history, with massive login queues of 30k players, straight up broken core gameplay mechanics. After the launch of the publisher, Digital Extremes pulled away from their deal, leaving Airship Syndicate to manage the live service on their own. You may think it's fair for a small developer to roll back an MMO into a single-player game, and most of us agree. What we, the founders, want is a refund for founders packs, the things Airship promised us and are now taking away. We pledged to fund an MMO, expecting MMO-style games. Now we're facing a single-player game. As running this team has refused all refund attempts. Forgot to mention, this is completely wiping all player progression from the live service going into the single-player model. So there's a full progress reset. Holy shit. I liked this game. I thought this game was fun. But the problem is that nobody else did, because there's 23 people playing the game. I think there was a dev in chat. The executive producers in chat wants to talk to you. Yeah. I'm gonna talk to him right now.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Just reading the post. I saw that you'd messaged me about it, and seemed pretty interesting. So,
it's been a busy day.
Yeah, it's been a big fucking day, I bet. Can you first, like, introduce yourself so everybody knows kind of like who you are, where you're from?
Yeah, so my name is AJ. I'm the producer on Wayfinder. I've found the game since day one, here in the studio with Airship Syndicate with everybody. In Austin, just like you, so well-versed in everything that we've done before and everything that we're working towards, but I know there's probably a lot of questions from the community and a lot of people that are some people are happy, some people are upset, and I'm here to answer any of those questions and talk about the unfortunate reality where we are and the necessity of the pivot we had to make and kind of the two choices we have, which is, hey, the game can be shut down forever, like a lot of MMOs that we've all played and love, or we can work towards making something that people have in their library and they can play at their leisure on their Steam Deck, on their PlayStation, on their Xbox. So whatever you want to talk about, I'm here to talk about it.
How the fuck did you get there? Like, what happened? So the game launched, there was, like, obviously the whole Wayfinder drama. It was, the servers were fucked, and, I mean, everybody knows it. That's the way it was. And, how did you guys respond to that whenever it happened?
So obviously we had a partner when we launched this. It was Digital Extremes.
Yeah.
Digital Extremes was responsible for some stuff, be it's login queues, customer support. Like, there's a lot of stuff they were responsible for. A lot of stuff we were responsible for. Database, games, like, a lot of stuff. And we owned up to our issues. They owned up to some of their issues as well. And when they informed us that they were dissolving their publishing unit, some of the stuff we were trying to stuff they wrote, work on the game and publish the game, we said, yeah, we self-publish the game. So now, how we your endeavors, we can go for Steam, we can go for PlayStation, we started down that path, and we can support the game. Updates, we can support reception.
Yeah, the Reaver King update and a couple of other ones. So I remember that. Yeah.
So we did all that stuff, and as we worked on it, we finalized it, it became evident that we were not able to do that, be sustainable. And so we kind of put our heads together and said, well, what do we do? We just say goodbye to this?
Well, like, real quick, before we go into part of so, like, basically, Digital Extremes got rid of their entire publishing unit. It's not like basically
all the entire publishing.
So this was not a result of the performance of Wayfinder. It was more so a result of their business decision.
Correct.
And how many other
CEO that was
yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying they had a new CEO that got put in place, and
what proportion was Wayfinder part of their publishing unit? Because, like, obviously, if they were only publishing 6 games, then Wayfinder not doing well probably would be impactful. But if they're publishing, let's say, 30 or 50, then it would probably just be like another thing.
Yeah, so one of the things that's a misconception is that we actually did an interview recently. It'll go live on Friday, but we'll talk about this and we'll kind of talk about because you just asked the question, how did this happen? Wild, they obviously Wayfinder, which is Warframe, which is super successful. But the team that was working on Wayfinder and all their other publishing projects was not that team. They had a completely separate team, completely separate technology, completely separate account systems, completely separate login systems. All those were different. And those were built with the intention of, okay, we build this for Wayfinder and for possibly other games. So when they decided not to do that, that's when they closed down their entire publishing division and they decided to just focus on what they were working on, which was Warframe and
Okay, well that makes sense. Narrow it down, focus heavily in. And so whenever, obviously, you all got news...
People are saying my mic is bad.
Oh, because I think you're walking away from it.
Okay, yeah, I'm walking away, so sorry. I pace when I talk.
You're good, I do the same thing. And,
very good.
Yeah, so anyway, like, what was the response of, like, your team whenever you found out that your publisher was just no longer going to exist?
I mean, it was... I will say that the team is incredibly resilient. Like, normally if you had that news, you can imagine people would be like, well, I'm out of here, jumping ship.
Yeah.
I mean, I was stressed. We were all stressed. I mean, we didn't get into this other than the fact that, like, we made this game initially as a love letter to MMOs. We all grew up playing WoW and EverQuest and Final Fantasy and Invictus and every game under the sun, and that's what we set out to make. So when that didn't happen and we all of a sudden were dropped, it was disheartening. But what was exciting was that we were no longer sure and what we could do in terms of focusing on quality updates and maybe balancing quick hot fixes versus having to get stuff good through them. So the team was invigorated, and that's why we were able to pump out a bunch of really good patches. We patched almost weekly. I think we did bi-weekly for a long period of time until we started working on this Echoes update, which you're obviously aware of now to talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. And why did you decide to pivot over to making it kind of? Is it like so? So you're talking like a multiplayer, single-player game. Is this going to function kind of like Monster Hunter in a way?
Yeah, so just to break it down for people, people think that this is just us being like, hey, it's a single-player co-op game, right? Like, the work that the team has put into this, I cannot stress enough, is extraordinary over the last couple of months. But every single system inside of the game, from the core loops to how you acquire weapons, to the cosmetics, to upgrades, to things like that has been implemented. It feels like an RPG. You played the game, so you know one of the biggest things is very Monster Hunter-like of, hey, I collected this weapon, and I'm going to upgrade it to the end of time and make it super powerful. Like, you don't have that anymore. They're full loot drops, just like a traditional RPG. You can find a level 5 weapon, and it might have sash and lights and a necklace that you like, and then 10 minutes later you can find a level 8 weapon that's better. Same with all of our armor and all of our cosmetics, all thousands of items that we had in the game. They're just put in the game as well. So, a lot of work got into this. And it feels really, really good. So, like, the question you asked is, how does it work? You load up the game on your Steam Deck. On your PC, eventually be on PlayStation 5 and Xbox as well. You play the game. If you want to jump into your buddy's game or vice versa, they will click on your name on Steam or on PlayStation, they will join your game. All of the progress carries over, all of the loot that you might find if you do quests together and you get a really awesome sword. And go, okay, thanks, I'm getting off for the night.
Can you trade
you
trade stuff?
There's still no trading inside the game, no.
Is that something that was intended or planned, or is it just, you know?
I mean, to be honest, it wasn't planned because it was going to be a free-to-play MMO. That makes it super hard to figure out a lot of logistics, especially if it was... but now that it's
absolutely.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, now I'm sure people will figure it out, and maybe we'll figure it out, and that's the other thing about this too. We want people to enjoy the game, we want people to play it, and if that's the case, people already have been like, hey, why don't you put it in a matchmaker, and why don't you put it in a server browser, or mod support. We can't stress enough that if people are interested in that, and people are playing and buying the game, we will support it. Like, it has to financially make sense, but we made this that in case that doesn't happen, we'd be like, okay, we've delivered a version 1.0 of the game, we think it's really solid, and that's it, that's the game. So we would love to keep working on it. We didn't do this because we hated it, we did this because we didn't want to work on it. We love the world, we love the characters, we love the fans, but it obviously has to make sense.
Of course, yeah, you've got to make the money, right? And that's just the way it is. And I'm assuming probably there were a lot of server costs for the MMO. You couldn't afford to have the server. Yeah, and that's just, yeah. So, okay, that makes sense. Pretty reasonable. And obviously, like, you saw the post that I was looking at. People think they're getting scammed because you're like, pivoting. Are they going to get, like, any money back? Or, like, how did you respond to that?
Yeah, so the people that are upset can go through the means of PlayStation and Steam to request refunds. We're working with them to see what else we can do in terms of like additional compensation. To be completely blunt and completely honest, we didn't collect money. Obviously, that was done through our publisher, so I can't refund what I didn't directly collect. But obviously, as a player, you don't give a shit who collects your money, right? Like to you, it's like, hey, it's in my library. It's not what I initially wanted to be. So we're offering make goods inside the games. All the founder pack items that people can purchase, they will have inside of the game when we launch, and then additional items from money that was spent or money that you had in your wallet will be converted into an exclusive currency that you can get for inside the game that like cosmetics and characters that you can't get otherwise. They're not loot drops. They're exclusive to those things. Yeah, again, there's no perfect scenario. I'm a Star Trek fan. It's the Kobayashi Maru, so we're trying to do what's best for players and for us so that we can continue to make awesome games. That's all we
can you
do.
Still buy the $150 pack right now?
No. The minute that we took over the business, we removed it for sale. The game has not been for sale for over a month once we finalized all of our transfers from Digital Extreme to us.
So you're saying that the reason why you're not offering refunds is because you are in no position to do so because the company that was the publisher, Digital Extremes, were the ones who actually took the money, so you couldn't even offer refunds if you wanted to. Is that effectively what you're saying? And so that's why, but you are working with Steam to hopefully empower the people who do want a refund to get it, but they have to get it from Digital Extremes. Is that correct?
I can't speak for that. I obviously can't speak directly for DE anymore, but I can tell. I mean, we've gone through the ringer with Steam. We were trying to offer multiple game copies so that you can give it to your friends. They don't support that anymore. We're trying to give away. We've talked about additional DLC in the future if we do that to give it away. So I mean, I get it. I get that people are emotional upset. I've been there. I'm sure you've been there when you played games that shut down or something you bought's not what you originally intended it to be, but I just hope that people understand that this was the decision we came to, because the other decision would be that it would just go away forever, which also sucks. Like I said, there's really no winning in this situation. We're trying to do what's best for players, but also for us, for a company, so you can make games. We have 85 people in the company. We're a small indie studio, and we're just in a situation that sucks. No way around it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, it definitely sucks. And like going back to the thing, because like I just want to make sure, because like this is I think the main point of contention, is that like, so you're not at like if somebody is trying to get their $150 founder pack back, like you're cooperating with Steam. From like your perspective, that's fine with you, right?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Like, I can't specifically say that it's fine with me. I mean, both from like a legal standpoint as well as like the people I answer to, what they're going to say. But I could say that we understand and empathize with people. We have talked to Steam directly.
What did you talk to? Can you say what you talked to Steam about?
They understood the situation. I mean, we obviously have been talking to Steam for a long time to transfer all the services and transfer everything over to us. And once we did take over the business, we then, like I said, we took it off for sale. So they understood that, and they understood that that was our desire once we were in control. But as far as the actual like refund portion of it, or who handles that, I can't speak for that, or what conversations they might have had with. They're not our partner anymore, and we haven't talked to them in a while about that stuff.
So do you have any autonomy to give refunds back to anyone? Like, could you give refunds back if you wanted to?
I don't think so, and I'm just being completely blunt with you.
No, I know. I'm just
I don't know.
Straight answer.
We haven't walked through that logistics, and we didn't talk to Steam and say like, hey, we do this. I mean, like I said, if we haven't collected money from people and from Steam, like imagine a bank account. Again,
you don't have the receipt.
I don't have the. Yeah, I don't have the receipt.
So again, you guys, so that's very important though, right? Like you don't have the receipt to verify that anybody did or did not purchase the game. Is that accurate?
I'm trying to think. I don't think that's entirely accurate. I can't see like an individual. I can't see Asmongold making a sale for this, making a purchase and then getting this game. That is correct.
Is there a way that if somebody who had the Founders Edition
Mhm.
if they push the button for I want a refund, can you approve that button push?
So you can approve the button push with specific parameters. Like, let's say, like when we launched, for example, we changed the button push from the default 2 hours or 14 days. I think we did it to like 12 hours and 14 days, something like that, because obviously we had tons of login issues and people took a long time to get into the game. But that was them, so I don't actually know. I mean, this is something that we're committed to looking at and working towards. I don't have an answer for people now, unfortunately. But we wanted to get this news out there today because obviously we're launching for those that have paid for the game already, the 31st, and then for other people, the 11th.
Okay. So yeah, I guess you'll probably be able to find that out. And do you know if the team is looking for a way to reimburse the people that bought the Founders Editions, or like what's the thinking with the team in terms of the people that feel like they were misled? Because I think that's going to be like a big point of contention.
You're saying with them feeling misled?
Yeah, because they said that they had bought the $150 edition for the MMO and community service and multiple seasons in the future. Then obviously, like the way that the game is being presented has changed. I personally have like kind of a buyer beware perspective on this. So like if you say, well, no, because that's just what happens whenever you support an early access game, I don't give a shit. That's true. But like I'm curious to see what the team is viewing this, because I'm sure that you all have seen the post, right?
So we're in agreement with you that if it's an early access game and there are risks inherent in an early access game, but at that same time, like I get it as a player. Like I said, like, I've been in a situation where I bought into an early access game where Kickstarter just goes away, and if we didn't care about our perception, we wouldn't have shut the game down. So we wouldn't have shut it down. So
y'all
we
wouldn't have
care.
done that thing with the store items at the beginning of the game, with like the price and rest of that.
And so, like, I'm just thinking, once I don't know, honestly, that's why I can't say anything, but I'm thinking aloud. But I mean, we care about the perception, we care about the player's perception, we care about the studio and its pedigree and the games that we've done before. And so it's gut-wrenching to even be here. So I don't have a direct answer for you other than we want to make right by the player and we want people to be happy. And part of that is I hope that when the game does come out, they update their game and they see the effort that went into it and it is good. But I get that's not an answer for everybody. You want an MMO, so you got this co-op game, it's not the same. So we're totally not blind to that. But I don't have a good answer today about like, what can be done here, other than we want people to play quickly so they can see it. That's why I announced so close to coming out, and we want to continue to work with our partners to figure out a solution for it.
Okay, yeah, that seems to make sense. Yeah, I'll have one more question for that, then I'm kind of actually curious about like, where the game is going to go. So, on Steam, if somebody who has Founders Edition wants to get a refund, and they click the refund button, you, at the company, have the option to approve that refund right now. Is that correct?
No, we have the option to set specific. Oh, I guess yes. Question mark? We have the option to set specific parameters on time. I don't know what that limit is. If the limit is 60 days or unlimited, I don't have an answer for that. I just don't know. I have to work with my Steam guys to figure that out. But we do have the option to set the parameters around like that time frame. The normal Steam 2 hours and 14 days is editable by the publisher. Now, does that work when you transferred publishers? I don't have an answer again.
So I'm pretty sure, like, the truth is you have no fucking idea, because this happened out of nowhere and it's kind of uncharted territory. Like, just is that pretty much where we're at?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's exciting and scary at the same time. No one's really done this before. It's taking an online game, completely stripping it out, redoing every major system, and then making it a game that people can play forever. And we hope that people do play forever. And if they do, and people like it and they buy it, like, we want to keep supporting it. Like, we plan to go back to a multi-game studio that has a small team on Wayfinder that constantly has updates of characters and weapons and hunts and locations and yada yada yada, while we work on other stuff too. That is the goal.
Okay, yeah, so what are you going to do now? Obviously, since the game is, the game is going single player, what happens now?
Right now, so Are you asking like specifically like the timeline for stuff?
Well, I mean, just in
Sorry,
general.
I got two
like
messages. I got
philosophy.
two messages in the middle.
No, it's okay. I get probably 50 an hour. I totally understand being distracted.
Our current philosophy now is that we take what we have, we take a game that we think is a demonstrably better game. I mean, we quickly found that out once we removed the servers and there was no lag, there was no latency. We took everything that was something you could purchase at one point or the other, and we converted it into loot drops that are earnable, that feel good. Everyone loves a loot drop, right? We added tons of good content. Like I said, there's talent trees, there's ultimate progression systems, and we have tons of other content. Our new zone that we put in is about 3 times larger than the old one. There's mounts, there's additional hunts, there's additional weapons to find, sets to get, and so that stuff will be going live with Echo's update on the 31st for people that already own the game, don't own the game, to for sale, we put a pack for sale on June 11th, and then...
So can you not buy the game right now?
No, the minute we took over the business, we took the game down for sale on every platform.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes, do not buy it. And so once the game comes out on June 11th, we will be working through early access where we have additional characters, additional locations, additional zones, refinements of the game, refinements of the game system, and we'll be putting them in once we obviously are out of early access and it becomes version 1.0. And during that time, we can make the decision and say, okay, well, it makes sense for us to put in official mod support or server browser or whatever. Like, as long as there's an audience, we will keep working on the game. Like I said, there's a smaller team that's working on it, but we'd love to keep adding content to it as long as people are interested in it.
So you say in the post, you say there's going to be no in-game microtransactions or in-game purchases, and you just literally buy them. How the fuck is that possible?
Right, so the boxes that we have and the boxes that we are hoping to sell, we think it's a affordable package. We think it's enticing. Like, we've seen a big. I mean, this is just us, right? Like, there's been a meteoric shift in the industry of late of live services and microtransactions and feeling FOMO. And hey, I'm not going to get my shop location. I have to do my daily quest. And so this is us trying to buck that trend by saying, well, what if we just put together a complete package that you can play start to finish, the story. There's an end game that you can hunt for stuff, you can power your character, and you can definitely play the game on your own and just pay one price for it. All the thousands of items that we have for cosmetics, to skins, to housing items, to weapons, to sprays, all that stuff is just, you're in a dungeon, you might just find a bird for your house, and then you might just find a weapon, or you find parts for another wayfinder. If we converted all that stuff, that was once purchasable into just being loot drops inside the game like any other RPG.
So what happens? Like, this is the thing, right? It's like a lot of the reasons why they have these. Like, do you think that's sustainable?
Yeah, so like I said, our big goal is to go back to being a multi-project studio. I mean, we worked on Darksiders Genesis and Ruined King at the same time, and so it's sustainable for a business long term, obviously, to work on multiple things. So as long as people are buying the game and interested in the game, we'd love to have a team that's still working on Wayfinder, and that money that is collected also supports the studio during the time that we're working on other stuff with other partners. But you're right, it obviously doesn't last forever, but it's a big moment for us, and we're kind of, like I said, it's uncharted territory, and we're just trying to adapt to what we have now and to be around to just continue making awesome games. We're responsible for 80-some people, so we just want to do it right by them, and we want to do it right by the players.
So, just to completely understand, so like basically whenever this comes out, you said it's May 31st, is that right?
Yeah, anyone that's currently, if you've ever owned the game, May 31st is the date you can play it. We're only calling that an early like a preview period, because obviously we'll find bugs, we'll issue a day one patch, and then we'll release it for sale on June 11th.
Okay.
But you can play throughout that entire time. It's not like it's going down. Obviously, it's a single player or a co-op game, so you can play at your leisure, do whatever you want during that time. But yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. And I guess, is there going to be, after the release of the game, besides like bug fixes, is there a content plan at all for the game after the release?
Yeah, so you actually have it up on your screen right now that we currently have a new Wayfinder, a gigantic new zone, our 3 times the housing area, new hunts, new locations that we're adding into the game during early access, so additional content. And then, like I said, any other content will just come after that. But yes, there is a content plan for early access to continue to evolve the game, balance the game, but add additional content for people to play.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that sounds good. So there's basically not going to be any microtransactions. Is there a battle pass?
No. So there were battle passes that were initially in the game. Obviously, they were also part of the Founders Pack, where you can get our first battle pass and our second battle pass. Those are not being sold. They're just completely part of the game. There are loops in the game that you can unlock those rooms and get those cosmetics, just like any other upgrade or loop-based system inside of it.
So there's no battle pass. What about DLC?
We have no plans right now for DLC. We'd love to do it in the future. It really comes down to if we're able to, and if we're able to be sustainable doing so.
I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I mean, I hope you guys can figure out the issue with like some of the people that subscribed and did the Founders Edition, and maybe figure out a way to make them happy. But otherwise, I mean, this seems like it's pretty decent. And yeah, I mean, man, I can only imagine how stressful it might have been having to go through all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a challenge, but again, we're trying to do what's right. We have 2 options in front of us. Game goes away forever, publisher cancels, or we risk our own ass and our own money, and we give in our pockets and say, can we do something with what we have and give something to players so that they can have it forever? And we think the answer is yes. We hope that on the 31st, when people actually log into the game, it's so hard not to say that, when people press play on the game, that they see it. I mean, they'll see that it feels better to play, and it's just a much more responsive game, and it's just a much better situation. But unfortunately, we're rolling with it. But I think that in the long term, I think we'll be supporting this game because I think people will play it and they'll see how great it is.
Well, that's awesome, man. And I want to say
I'm biased, but
yeah, of course, right? But no, I want to say thanks a lot for coming on and talking about it and everything. Obviously, I'm sure you guys are busy. I've got like a million other things I need to do too. It's just like, it turned into a very weird, busy day for me. But I do want to say, I really appreciate you coming on such short notice and just randomly talking about this. I'm sure, taking and fielding these questions in front of a big audience might be a little bit unnerving. So I want to say that I recognize that. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and as far as the other stuff that I couldn't answer directly, like I said, I don't have all the answers. I'm giving you what I have, and obviously this is spontaneous, but I hope by me jumping on here, it does show that we give a shit and that we are trying to do something that's unheard of, taking a game that was online only and converting it to offline and hopefully having it around forever. So, but yeah, I appreciate you covering the game in the past and talking about it. Be it good or be it bad, any conversation fuels us so that we can just continue to make awesome stuff, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, anyway, I'll let you get back to it, and thanks a lot for coming on. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good one. Peace. Wow, it was pretty good. I mean, I would say overall that was a pretty good answer. I think that obviously they can't answer the refund portion right now because they simply probably do not have the... They can't confirm that, right? He's like one guy that works at the studio, and so, like, he can't be like, yeah, this is what's going to happen, this isn't what's going to happen. And I think also if the purchases did go through the publisher, at what point are they liable for those? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's probably the best type of answer that he could give realistically, right? And we'll see what happens. I hope that they can do right by these people in one way or another.
The video has ended. Let's see what's next. Oh, we're moving on to the next day. That was not a very good dungeon run. I couldn't get to the next elevator. Oh well. Alright, we can watch it already got shut down. The portal. For 8 minutes. Okay, let's watch this.
A couple days ago, New York unveiled the eighth wonder of the world, a portal to Ireland. Not so
Here's
much
the,
like a Doctor Strange level portal or anything like that.
It already got
It was
shut down.
basically
That
just
thing
this
was there.
live stream of New York and Ireland, and you could just look at each other through the screen. Kind of a novel, silly idea, I suppose, some harmless fun, but some ne'er-do-wells had other plans. They brought in some evil degeneracy, which I think everyone in the world could have seen coming.
Reports the project meant to bridge a gap between two continents is now causing some problems.
There's a portal to another dimension in the Flatiron District, except that dimension is Ireland and that portal is more like a live stream.
I guess they really expected everyone to just be upstanding citizens, like NPCs that'll just go through and wave like a roller coaster tycoon, and they just wave at each other and go about their day through the portal, which is super cute, and how naive you must be to think that. In reality, though, this was only ever going to end one of two ways, with titties or with penis, and we chose the titty path. There are so many angles of this clip here, you could make a 360-degree video production out of it. In the full video, this one kind of cuts it off. She ends up putting her shirt down after getting no response from the people on the other side of the portal. The people in Dublin were not that impressed or that entertained. So she's like jumping around with her bare melons flopping around like it's an NVIDIA jiggle physics demonstration. And no one reacts in Dublin. They just look at her like she's some type of fucking extraterrestrial creature. So she just eventually sadly puts her shirt back down, and then the video ends. So she jumps around saying, "Do you like my potatoes, Dublin?" And I guess she was expecting people to go crazy like, "Wah! Ah, yeah, please!" But then was caught by surprise by getting complete crickets on the other side here. Now, the people in New York, they were laughing at it. They were having a great time with this event. But man, the people on the other side of the portal, they didn't give a shit at all. It is so fucking silly. And this ended up, well, this and a combination of other things I'll show you in a minute, ended up getting the portal paused. But we know it's getting shut down. I don't think it's coming back. But you know what is coming back? The best goddamn merch the internet's ever seen. We've got brand new Moist Global merch here, so we've got a hat, we've got a hoodie. The hoodie is fucking extraordinary, by the way. We've also got a shirt, we've got some slides, we've also got a satchel, like a bag. We've got a whole lineup here of the best shit you'll ever find in your life. If you wear this entire outfit, like complete the entire ensemble here of this new Moist Global merch drop, it's like collecting all of the Infinity Stones. It's like getting all of the Millennium items in Yu-Gi-Oh! You just become unstoppable. I dare say that these are better than kitties. So check them out at moistglobal.com.
This screen is a public art installation, one placed on the sidewalk of Manhattan and another in Dublin last week, funded by a private grant.
I think it's a really cool way to express human connection.
New Yorkers and Dubliners can watch each other live, waving, playing games, and even connecting with friends.
It all started with good intentions, and look where we ended up. Sometimes the most destructive forces come from the best of intentions, like in I Am Legend, for example. God bless. Point is, it started with just this idea that people would go through and just do like silly little stuff with strangers through this portal, and immediately on day one it started being used for purposes it wasn't quite designed for. So people were showing some less than stellar videos to those in Dublin, as well as Dublin to those in New York. It wasn't just New Yorkers. It was just one of those things where people just saw an opportunity to do some dumb shit and did it. Like, this has happened a million times, and it's going to happen for as long as human beings exist on this plane of existence. It's just one of those things that's deeply ingrained in our DNA. Like, I'm shocked it even made it as long as it did before someone flashed their titties at it. I really thought that that would be one of the first things that would happen, but it actually had a pretty long run, to be honest. Now, I will say, if it did go the other route, if we had the alternate ending, the penis percentage, if we had wiener route, I think the narrative around this would be far different. Like, imagine I go up to the Dublin portal, and I drop trow, and I start, you know, wiggling my cock around, and I'm like, "Hey, do you like my almonds, Dublin?" And I lift up my shaft to showcase my scrotum and maybe, like, dribble it around a little bit. Because I don't have enormous balls or anything. They do look like some almonds that are in, like, a nice sack. Good shaft, less than optimal nut girth. But the point is, I feel like if I had done that, I'd be going to jail. I would be slapped with some pretty extreme labels as well, and I wouldn't be seeing the sunlight from outside the slammer for a long time, I imagine. But since it was boobies, it's being treated a little bit differently. Which, of course, I'm not over here, like, humbugging, like, we used to be a proper society, why can she show her honkers, but I can't show my dick? It's not one of those things, it's just something I find interesting at the very least. It's all fun and games when it's titties, but the second a cock comes out, now it's serious. You know, just an observation, I suppose. But anyway, the lady responsible here for this incident is actually an infamous woman from a long since forgotten age, 2020. She is a cameo appearance here in 2024. She is actually the woman who went viral for licking airplane toilet seats. During the pandemic, she was licking airplane toilet seats as like a COVID statement or something. I actually don't even remember why she was licking toilet seats. But yeah, she was just licking toilet seats. And now, you can see how much she's matured. You can see that she's gone through an evolution of her own into this beautiful butterfly who's gone from the toilet seat to boobies on a portal. And what's not to like about that character development, right? That's pretty cool.
But it hasn't been all fun and games. In the short time we were there, someone was holding up a derogatory sign. And at 5 o'clock, the screen turned off.
I'm surprised it lasted this long, honestly.
Viral of people flashing the screen and holding up disturbing images, with culprits at both ends of the ocean.
If we were to get pretentious for just a moment, I could argue that this art installation still served its initial purpose. It connected us in a way that few things have before. It has shown us that those in New York and those in Dublin are more alike than they are different. Both sides love to take the piss all the same. When the opportunity is presented to a human being, regardless of where they are in the ocean, they will take that opportunity to make the silliest shit out of it. And honestly, in a way, that's kind of wholesome, if you really stop and think about it. People in Dublin trolling those in New York trolling those in Dublin. I mean, Portal kind of did what it set out to do, to be fair. Now the lady behind the breasts is bragging about it. She's going on her own little press tour here, talking about it, and she seems extremely pleased with how all of this has panned out for her. I'm a hero, she added. And apparently it's been a very successful business move for her, because she claims she made around 8,000 euros in new subscribers to her OnlyFans after this event. She said, Dublin showed New York City the Twin Towers, so it was only fair I showed them my Twin Towers to save our city from harassment. She's referring to another viral video where apparently someone was playing a video of 9/11 through the portal. The creator hopes that Irish guys will be tempted to buy her OnlyFans content, adding, I've gotten thousands and made a lot of money because everyone wants to see what Dublin saw. So, I mean, it turned out to be a good business move for her, I guess. It boosted her OnlyFans performance. And, yeah, that's kind of where this is at right now. RIP to the portal, though. That's really about it. So, yeah.
I'm going around. I was thinking about fishing, but fishing has not been very lucrative. So I'm going to back into the dungeon to get some iron and gold, preferably gold, because I'm trying to make those high quality watering sprinklers. Oh my gosh, Girl Boss Galore, Dune Prophecy trailer reaction. What? I still haven't finished watching Dune. Unfortunately, there's a trailer, but what? I gotta watch it. I still haven't watched Dune.
Nerderotic.com.
All right, let's take a look at the Dune trailer. What Dune trailer, you say? The TV show that's going on Max. Let's look at the trailer, and I will give you my thoughts and fears from it.
I have thoughts.
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts, because you're the Dune lore guy.
Let's go.
10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides, before the universe would know us as the Bene Gesserit, we founded a sisterhood, assigned to the great houses to help them sift truth from lies. We created a network of influence throughout the Imperium, but power comes with a price.
Mark Strong.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And this is the marriage that makes it possible. This is us in love, and we will be judged for it.
Interesting. Does any of it take place on Dune? Is this origins of the Bene Gesserits or like early days, Chris? What do you think?
Early days, yeah. So in the Dune universe, there was this thing called the Butlerian Jihad, which was
the butt jihad.
Butlerian Jihad was basically like wiping out all machines and AI.
Okay.
AI would be bad for mankind, and this was a big war. The aftermath of that resulted in the creation of mentats, which were men, were human computers, and the Bene Gesserit. They have these powers that are almost Jedi-like. So when people say, oh, they're girl bossing, well, they have powers, but really their biggest power is manipulation. So they manipulate the bloodline of houses because they're trying to create the Kwisatz Haderach. That's what they're doing. I mean, even George R.R. Martin would admit Game of Thrones is really based on Dune, and Dune is like a sci-fi Game of Thrones.
Absolutely.
It totally is. So I didn't realize this was going to go back so far in history. I thought it'd be more recent. But 10,000 years?
Seeing them take out like the AI, that's a great concept. I actually like that concept.
It's why there's no computers, no robots, there are no alien races, there are guild navigators, but they're former humans taking too much spice.
Okay. So what I'm concerned about, they talked about this on Geeks and Gamers, and when I first heard this, for one, when I first heard this was being made, it got shelved for a little while. And then they found some new writers, and they went ahead with it, and it just sounded like to me, oh, this is going to be Doom Girl Boss. And that is the danger with the modern writers. And if there's a lot of stories out there that would have been good if you just stuck with the lore.
Yeah.
You know? Sorry, it's a bit of a mantra here. But they get turned into something because of that little question that you guys put up on your Film Threat website from the WGA questionnaire is, when you're going to write something, I'm paraphrasing here, what do you want this to be about?
Right.
So when you're adapting something, you want it to be about the adaptation and what the original writer wanted. That's what should be the answer, but that can't be the answer. It's got to be some kind of modern social cause. So that's ingrained into the union, into the DEI policies, and that's why I have very little hope for Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings or anything put out by Hollywood until they show me different, right? Because that's their approach to everything now. So hopefully that's not the case with this. I like Mark Strong.
Same. But I mean, Dune World is pretty based, right? The Bene Gesserit, they have these powers, but they're more about manipulation. They have the voice, which is something George Lucas took, right? They have certain skills, but they're very low key about it.
And if you look at Dune, just from the movies I watched, admittedly, Chris, you know, they're calling out the Messiah, they're calling out religion, but they're also taking quote-unquote third world countries, manipulating them to topple a power structure just to make their own power structure, just to take over another power structure. It's an interesting concept, and I think a lot of people focus on Paul Atreides and not the followers, because if Paul Atreides turns into like this evil emperor, then so do his followers.
Right, but and one of the things may or may not get into is creating like myths and legends or prophecies. They seed civilizations with like a messiah will come and save everyone, and then they have some lord or whatever go to that planet, and then they are considered the messiah. So that's what happened. Although Dune is like the cliff notes of Dune. the Doom movies, so I wish they'd gotten into more of this. I don't know if there's a whole series about this.
Real quick, the poll. Very interesting results in the poll.
Yeah.
Are you interested in watching Doom Prophecy? And 33% yes, 33% no, 34% unsure.
You heard that they scrapped the first pilot. They were right after shooting and it got shut down. So there were problems.
No, that is a return to normalcy.
Yes.
I haven't covered it probably because I was just spending too much time on Doctor Who. The Witcher at Netflix has been completely canceled, like across the board. So we're getting Dime Store Hemsworth in seasons 4 and 5, but they're filming them back to back. So essentially they got a season. My guess is you get like 5, maybe 6 episodes a season. So it's just one season, essentially. But they're splitting up. All the side projects. I have an animated show coming out. That was already made, and Netflix is washing their hands of The Witcher. So it's over. And like who could have seen that coming? You sided with Lauren Hisrich, who just, we were talking on Friday Night Tights about director's jail. There needs to be writer's jail and producer's jail. Like, that needs to happen.
Yeah.
And Lauren Hisrich shouldn't be allowed to write anything with that big of a failure and going up against your star and breaking the law that much. You do not deserve a job in Hollywood. But these people these people, Phoebe Waller-Bridge keeps getting work. Why? Drinker pointed out yesterday, she's 8 years off of her hit show. What the hell has she done since then? She's just been built up as this feminist media darling that annoys the shit out of everybody. And she's going to fuck up Tomb Raider. Absolutely fuck up Tomb Raider. Bring in writer's jail.
Nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.
Oh, so they're making a TV show for Doom. I'm barely able to watch the movies. It's so boring. I got up to 69, did not finish it off. I'm sad about that. Sad. Trying to organize this stuff. What's this one? Didn't make it to 16-70. Farming. Now go. Ooh, combat. Nice. Level 4 combat. Ah, shucks. This thing is gonna make me keep watering it every time. Gross. Back to the dungeon. Let's check. Damn, I'm thirsty. I need to get some gold. Sorry. No. No. Xbox plan for growth is Game Pass. Gross. I don't care about Xbox. I don't care about Nintendo. I've never had an Xbox in my life. Doctor Who falls. Psh. Doctor Who already fell. Didn't fall. It's been on the rock bottom forever, for a long time. Asus breaks your ROG ally if you don't pay $200 warranty. Yeesh. Lord of the Rings isn't for white men. That's funny. Should I watch that? 8 minutes. Let's watch it. Lord of the Rings.
So in the last 24...
Lord Rings of Power. Wait, what? Oh, it was a thumbnail. How Rings of Power. How angry women destroyed Lord of the Rings forever. And the thumbnail was something about white. It's not for white men, which is kind of true. They've been modifying TVs to be anti-white male. It's a fact. I could statistically prove it if I did. If I bothered to do it, I would. It would be very easy to prove.
hours, we have just witnessed two major examples of why Hollywood is losing millions of fans on a daily basis, as well as losing its overall relevance in pop culture. With those two examples being the Rings of Power Season 2 trailer and the comments made by the new Doctor Who actor, because they are both very much connected to the current trend in Hollywood, where they antagonize or blame the fans and then complain that they aren't watching their show.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Because when it comes to Rings of Power, you had articles detailing how the actors and creatives behind the show were labeling the negative reviews and overall reactions as racist. And so after calling the very audience you're making the show for racist or bigoted, can you really blame them for disliking the trailer for Season 2? And look, if the majority of the backlash was pure racism, then fair enough. But let me play you a clip from a so-called racist backlash video as labeled in this article, and you tell me if this sounds racist.
Now, I'd like to make clear that diverse casting is no bad thing by itself, because let's be honest, a lot of groups and minorities have had kind of a shitty deal from Hollywood over the years, so it's good to see them getting more opportunities now. In fact, I fully support this in most movies and TV shows. But here's the problem, this isn't your average movie or TV show, it's Lord of the Rings, a fantasy epic set in a prehistoric northern Europe that was explicitly described by its creator as his own attempt to create a mythology for England. Because of that, it features characters and cultures largely derived from Anglo-Saxon myths and legends, which is a diplomatic way of saying that most of the characters in it are white. Not exactly ideal by today's standards, maybe.
Pause it for the scene. Hello there. My dad and I are just testing some soil samples. Well, I just want to find your dad and give him a tear. Don't be shy. He's just a man, actually. Watch this quick beaker for me. I'm gonna grab the last batch of samples. I'll be right back. But just leave them on the table. Crying out loud. Oh, he's gonna talk. Dear my daughter, thanks for helping out. Rose, good kid. She's my special little girl. I wouldn't want anything getting in the way of her bright future. You know what I mean? I'll punch you in the face if you try to do anything. I have a hole in the back just for people like you. Just food for thought. don't take it too seriously. Mario's back. Don't look. Sorry about that. I hope you found something to talk about while I was gone. I was just telling PPC, poor Pokemon collector, about the soil samples we're testing. About the hole where we put the samples in. Actually, that was being weird. Gotcha. What did you say you did? You say you're gonna put them out back with the soil samples in the hole? Don't want to embarrass you. What lie about it? I'm not a mature kid. I'm a mature kid. I understand. Get back to work, cuckoo head. Jeepers. I went outside and back inside. Bro. You look presumptuous earlier? Demetrius. Round to the sense of course. It's not for your trouble. Cha-ching, 25, and he's happy. Sweet. He's helping out with me. What's Demetrius on? Oh, he's only one heart. I'm out. Peace out. Is that great? Oh, I forgot to bring food. I mean, energy. Not give it to him. Bum doesn't deserve it. Blueberry. And this chap is very good. Thanks very much. Alright, back to the video.
But there it is. That's the way Tolkien wrote it. And for the past 70 years or so, that's pretty much how everyone accepted it. So needless to say, fans were a bit confused when they saw elves looking like this, or dwarves looking like this.
Because I, for one, would always want Black Panther to be an African-made and told story, and be an overall celebration of African culture. And the same goes for other projects like Crazy Rich Asians. I'm glad that was an entire Asian cast, because that's what the story deserved, and that's what the story needed to be fully authentic and truly craft a great story. And as an Indigenous Australian myself, I would hate for any of my own stories to be adopted and told by other people that aren't from the very culture the story comes from. And if Amazon felt like there have been enough white Anglo-Saxon stories told, then don't go and buy the rights to Lord of the Rings and try and retell that story with race swaps. Why don't you just go out and find a diverse story from a different country, like maybe a story from China, or a story from Nigeria, or a story that has nothing to do with race? Because they seriously cannot be shocked that when they went back to a story like Lord of the Rings, coming from where it comes from, and representing what it was trying to represent as a lore for the country of England, that fans came out annoyed and angered by the fact that you were choosing to change it.
Shock. 258.com.
Shock. But when this sensible and understandable comment gets shut down as racist, it's utterly terrible, as well as beyond disrespectful to the very fan base that you're choosing to make the show for. Because at the end of the day, if Lord of the Rings wasn't popular, if Lord of the Rings didn't have such a big fan base, then you wouldn't be making this series, because the only reason you chose to do a spin-off is because you saw the big fan base this and thought that you'd be able to make a lot of money from it. Which leads me to my next point, which is if these shows are made for the fans, which they very much are, and that's why they're released to the public, then why, after fans expressing how much they hated the first season, are they going out and making a second?
How could you do that? Because I'm an idiot. You may think you're an idiot, but with all due respect, I'm a much bigger idiot than you are.
It truly makes zero sense, because up until a few years ago when a show underperformed, it usually meant that the show would be cancelled, because why on earth would you want to make something that no one wants to watch, or better yet, that everyone hates? But nowadays we get shows like Velma, which are attacked by literally everyone, and then they get renewed for a second season, and possibly a third season. Then we also have a character like Rey Skywalker that basically every single Star Wars fan said they hated, and that they didn't like the character arc she had, and then they double down on that very character and announce that they're making another movie with her. To me, all it shows is that the fans are no longer a priority in the Hollywood industry, and while there are still some filmmakers and studios that are prioritizing the fans' entertainment, the overall majority of things we see nowadays just goes out of its way to disrespect the fans, antagonize them, and then choose to blame them whenever their story fails. But at the end of the day, you cannot be angry at the fans for not liking a show when you did exactly what they told you not to do. And that seems to be a direct correlation between what succeeds nowadays and what fails, because you get shows like One Piece where the cast say things like this.
Was there any pressure bringing this beloved graphic novel to life?
Yeah, of course there was pressure. We want to honor the fans of One Piece and Ichiro Oda. If there's one big thing that encompasses this we love the source material, and what Mr. Oda has done is amazing, and we want to honor that as much as possible.
And then the show succeeds, and then you get shows like Rings of Power where the cast say things like this, and then the show fails. And then on top of that, you could also make the comparison between Hollywood and social media, where content creators prioritizing providing value for the fans, and Hollywood overall doesn't, so no wonder the public these days prefer to watch YouTube than go out to a movie, because at least when they're watching YouTube, they feel like they've been taken into account, and they feel like the creator is prioritizing their entertainment. And just finally, before I end the video, I know I'm going to get comments from people saying, how do you know Season 2 will fail when all you've seen is a teaser trailer and the show's not even out yet? And to that, the answer is pretty simple. If Amazon knew the show was good, would they not do any promo and then randomly drop a teaser trailer just 10 weeks before its release date? Of course not. I think it's fair to assume that Amazon know this show is going to fail, and they know this is arguably going to be the same, if not a bigger dumpster fire than Season 1, and I, for one, am all here for it, because it's definitely going to make some entertaining YouTube videos.
So, you have a new show for me? Yes, sir, I do. I was thinking we'd make a Lord of the Rings show. That's a recognizable name. It sure is, sir. So all we have to do is spend a bunch of money on the rights, and it's a guaranteed hit. And also make a good show that people will like, presumably. I mean, yeah, no, we'll see how it goes.
But what are your thoughts on the Rings of Power Season 2 teaser trailer? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all on my next video.
Golly, that was taking me forever through the last stairs. I finally got the Master Slingshot on floor 7, which I almost never use. I guess I might use it one time for the for getting one golden walnut event. But other than that one, never using this weapon. I can't really I just can't imagine ever using it in a way that helps me do something easier or faster, or a combination of both easier and faster to make it better. 0% chance of happening. I'm just better off just steamrolling everything with a sword. What's this? Oh, dirt. I need that probably. I don't know what. Are the bats in here? Whoa! What the heck is this? There's an orange. Oh, I don't have room. That's a big deal. And put the slingshot in here. The never use items. I'll put some of the stuff in here. Some of this stuff in here. I'll fix it later. Holy cow. 1, 2. Alright. Got it. Now we can grab some more fruit at 10 p.m. Holy moly, this stuff has been building up for a long time. Got an orange, got a cherry, got a pomegranate, tons of goodies. Tons of goodies. I'm happy for it. I'm just gonna fill up my fruit thing right here. Oops. Uh-oh. Phew-wee. Let's see what we got. Still need to organize a little bit. A little lot. Uh-oh. Another quest to gather fresh melon from the farm. Okay. I don't know if I still have one. I believe I might need more green. Not that one. Watering can. Out. Whew, barely made it. One tank. Whew. This way. I don't think I need to hold it yet. Let's look at some items here. So I definitely have 10 of these. 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 hay quest. Oh, a ton of stuff here, ton of stuff. I don't have any of this. I have cherry, pomegranate, orange, apricot. Cherry, pomegranate, orange. What do we have? Cherry, pomegranate, orange. A melon for whoever. Demetrius. Apricot apple. Wild plum. Goes in the back. Oops. Small glowworm. Oh, the regular good glowworm. This goes here. I think spice berries in there. Probably all of this. No. Nice. 2 peas. Alright. Winter stuff. Might have one of these maple syrup and a poppy. Maple syrup and a poppy. Might have that. What else is there? There's maple syrup. Yeah. Quite a few things. I don't think we could have completed the sets, but let's play a different video. Just doing dungeon run after this. Doctor Who actor is angry. I don't think he's angry. Well, it might be. Asmund doesn't know. Yikes. Let's watch this one. I don't know what it's about, cause I don't watch the new Doctor Who anymore. I haven't watched it since they changed it to an old man. I haven't seriously watched it since they changed to old man. After that, it's been going downhill, and you could tell they're selling out. So I checked out. So I don't know what the hell's going on. Let's see what they're saying. More bad news, probably.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And I guess we're going to do kind of a post-mortem on Doctor Who. We did a video the other day that quite a few people watched, actually. I was surprised. I think that made people cared. They only care about Doctor Who when it's failing, I think, at this point. But we're going to kind of talk about where the show goes from here. Russell T Davies is out there doing the press tour. Now he's singing the praises of Disney, and the Hollywood Reporter is singing the praises of Russell T Davies.
The whole interview is just so Davies is so up his own butt. I don't know how his partner has any room.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the ratings again. I don't think that they're going to be that great. And Shooty Got was saying he feels sad. He feels sad for the people that tuned out because, you know, of diversity. But a lot of people tuned out, and they were trying to blame the weather. They said it was too nice outside, and that's why everybody
I know, right?
everybody tuned out from Doctor Who. But as we will show you, a lot. This is coming from the UK. They're like, yeah, it's been branded woke and unwatchable, and the TV ratings are plummeting. Now, the only thing that's going to pull it out, I think, is Disney Plus, and they're never going to tell you what the numbers are.
No.
So
they're just going to say, oh, it's doing fine because Disney says so.
It's doing fine.
Because they're not going to admit that it's not doing fine.
Yeah, and there's a theory going around. I'm not sure, and again, apologies, I'm not sure who came up with the theory, but it's making the rounds on Twitter that Doctor Who was just kind of a something they had to do to get the Bluey rights or something, because the BBC's got the rights to Bluey, and Disney wants to keep the BBC happy so they can keep running Bluey, because that's like the biggest
I don't know, I thought
show
because it's out of Australia though, so I don't know.
Yeah, but they actually have, I guess BBC Worldwide has
had the rights for Australia.
Yeah,
that could be then. That's very possible.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me. I can't verify it, but that makes sense.
I don't understand why Disney would throw this much money at Doctor Who and then completely change the show.
But not just that. Why would they throw money? Okay, they're throwing all that money at Doctor Who, and they had to take. It would make sense to take it because of Bluey, because it was already a losing proposition.
Yes.
And the reason they're probably wanting to make changes made was because their takeaway, stupidly, was the other shows weren't doing great because people didn't like that it was a woman doctor. So we'll just bring it back and put a man in, but we have to make sure that it hits all our DEI and agenda check boxes, or you can't do it. So we'll just make it, and TikTok.
And then we'll say it's a brand new show.
Yeah, season 1.
We're gonna reset it. So I mean that's possible. I don't know. I mean it's weird for Disney to throw this much money at Doctor Who. And I'm like, meanwhile, you own the Orville, and it's just sitting there. We don't know if there's going to be another season of that or not, but people really want another season. But you own that one. You don't own Doctor Who.
Just FYI. So.
No, a lot of people want another season of the Orville.
But Neon especially wants another season.
I really do. I think more people probably watch the Orville than are going to watch this. But let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Coming from the Hollywood Reporter, we'll just kind of bounce around here. Actually, tell you what, let's go out and see where we're at with the ratings. And then we'll go back to what Russell T Davies has to say. The GBN, I guess this is right-wing British stuff.
Oh, well, see, they're going to say it's because of that reason.
Yeah, but the reality is the ratings are terrible, right? I mean, we're talking half of what it was on Jodie Whittaker's
And that's
watch.
bad. Wait, on Jodie Whittaker's watch, the beginning or the end?
I think toward the end, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been, like, I know Jodie Whittaker, the lowest for her, I think, was the Sea Devils, I think was one episode. But most of her episodes were, like, in the 3 and 4 million range. But they're going to say, well, because of, macroeconomic circumstances and the high
The weather was nice.
The weather was nice. Yeah, and the Christmas specials did better, but they didn't do great. For David Tennant, they did not do great.
I was going to say, the people who tuned in, they were excited because you got Donna Noble and David Tennant back. And then they dropped off, I think, each time. And then the Christmas one, a lot of people just watch it anyway because it's Christmas. And it was like the first real outing he had, you know? So they were like, well, let's take a look and see.
Yeah, I
and
think
they were like, oh, okay.
Well, remember, I mean, Jodie Whittaker, her first episode was one of the highest viewed episodes of Doctor Who ever. It was like 10 or 11 million. I think a lot of people were like, okay, female doctor, I gotta watch this. I gotta see, for better or for worse, what it's like. if we got a female doctor. And
I don't think the She Got One not getting the same numbers is because he's black. I think it's because, it's another guy. You know, it's just a dude again. So what?
I think it's that, and they know that because all they've been talking about incessantly, all they've been talking about is representation and musical numbers and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, you've lost. Look, even if that is the case, because I said before, the other video, Russell T Davies' run on Doctor Who was pretty gay. Okay, it was.
Yeah, no,
I mean, you go back and watch it, you can definitely see it. You know, Jack Harkness and Cassandra.
He's like my favorite character ever. I love him.
We had, lesbian space cat ladies, and look, there was a lot of gay in that show, but he wasn't out there constantly being like representation.
But at the same time, it wasn't like they weren't. Yeah, exactly. They weren't like shoving it down your throat like they are this one. If you didn't like the episode, it wasn't because you didn't like it. It wasn't because you were a bigot.
Right.
Automatically, because you're a terrible person who doesn't think that gay people exist. That was stupid and silly. And saying it wasn't very, he didn't. There was nothing in there like that is a lie too. Like you said, it was definitely in there. No question.
Yeah, and you can see the change even from Russell T Davies' era to Moffat's era. Moffat's era became a little more traditional, a little more straight until Bill showed up, and I kind of wonder if they.
Bill, did I mention that she likes women? Did we tell you for the 5th time this episode that she's a lesbian? In case you missed it, Bill likes women.
Bill likes women.
Which I don't care. And it was more annoying that they had to tell you like a dozen times. I was like, we can't.
I feel like Bill. I feel like Bill was put in there for DEI purposes.
I know, which isn't fair to the actor. The actors behind it. I'm just like, we get it. You made it very clear.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is a GBN, so take it as you will. They said the series is shipped to the U.S. via Disney Plus, and CGI and increase in budget value we're plain to see throughout the double bill opener. Yeah, it looks good. The show looks good. I mean, I'm not going to knock the visuals, it's the best it's looked since the Matt Smith era. They talk about cameos for Strictly Come Dancing favorites. What?
They're like, it's a dancing show. And
yes, the Doctor's new adversary is played by American drag artist Monsoon, who has since gone viral following the show's return for correcting another character for using him pronouns incorrectly. They did this with David Tennant, though, too. This is the second time in like 4 episodes that
it's not necessary.
The audience has gotten lectured.
You did it once, got it. But you lectured it constantly. It's like, hey, you say it once, and then, okay, cool, we got it, and then you just won't stop.
Yeah, they said there are some semblances to the Doctor Who of yesteryear, with a mention of the classic character Ronnie, as well as the Doctor's adopted home planet Gallifrey, which I freaking hate that they retcon the Doctor. The Doctor's not from Gallifrey now. And, whatever. So all the overhaul of the sci-fi show to seemingly incorporate gender politics and change the look of the series has left plenty to be desired by many watching at home. In fact, the overnight ratings for BBC One on Saturday night consisted of an underwhelming 2.6 million and 2.4 million per installment of the double header. Now, they don't take into account streaming figures on iPlayer. They always say that, but then it turns out that the iPlayer numbers are never that great.
They haven't been so far now.
Disney's gonna hide this one. They're gonna bury it. They're gonna be like, oh, Doctor Who's doing great, guys. Just trust us.
You know what? I want to take a moment to appreciate this cameraman, because he's manning that whole thing himself. Appreciation to camera people.
The camera person.
I just want to say that because I'm like, damn.
Not cameraman.
You can see the muscles in his leg. He's got that thing down. So appreciation to those fine folks who are camera operators. Continue.
Well, they're talking about how on X and Twitter they said, users are slamming the new series and its new look after the cast and crew told the old Doctor Who fans to stop watching in favor of a modern audience.
Yes.
That's just it. You can do this without preemptively telling people to check out, and that's what they keep doing.
Well, that's what I think you mentioned before. It's like, if you have a really, 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 really good show, you can get away with maybe saying those things. If your show sucks, you just don't say that at all, because you're just going to chase your audience away. They have neither.
Yeah.
They don't have a good show, and they didn't have any basis to go after the audience, and it bit them in the ass.
This person said, the show is trash now. It's pretty bad when we can look back at Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall and say it's not as bad as what Disney and Russell T Davies have done.
Oh, that's bad.
Everybody
Chibnall completely fucked it up.
Like every freaking IP ever. We're like, well, you know, the prequels, the Star Wars prequels were terrible and it destroyed Star Wars, and then along come the sequels. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess it can get worse, can it? So yeah, I mean, now we got Davies out there talking about working with Disney.
The whole interview, I'll
This
save
is
you
a
some
puff
time.
piece.
It's basically the interviewer kissing his ass and, like, you know, sucking him up to him. Take it as you will.
What?
And he's basically like, oh, I'm so clever, I'm so awesome, I'm amazing.
I like
And then
Russell T Davies.
And then it gets to the end,
Yeah.
and they're talking about what did Disney think?
What Disney think about the flamethrowers, baby with a flamethrower? Everybody loved it. That's one of the best moments in the world. They're fantastic. Whatever you might think, there are no Disney notes. He said there were. Well, they actually correct him.
Interesting.
Somebody else actually said that they. There's another article out there. They actually said that they correct because he said that Disney gave them.
He did.
notes.
He did
said-
say that. I remember. We talked about it.
Yeah, you look at their output. It's wild. It covers all sorts of stuff. They're just as much up for this adventure as the rest of us. Basically, he's sucking up to Disney because if these 2 seasons don't do well, and Disney has agreed to help bankroll 2 seasons, that's probably it for Doctor Who. Because I think he said in another interview that the BBC can't afford to do Doctor Who on its own.
He also made comments that no one tells him no.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it shows.
Yeah, but no, he did say, I know he said that Disney gave him notes. Now he's saying there are no Disney notes. Yeah, this is coming from Screen Rant. While Disney's creative control over Doctor Who is not extensively clear, they do offer some notes on the show as evidenced by their request to feature the Doctor earlier in the Christmas special. So they absolutely positively do. He said before that they pass along notes to him. So people were worried that the show was going to be Disney-fied, and it feels Disney-fied with all the musical numbers and the TikTok ability of it all. This feels like a very Disney thing. So yeah, sorry, there are no Disney notes. He flat out said there were Disney notes.
Yeah, well, he talks in circles anyway. We've noticed this.
Shudigawa says he feels sad for those tuning out of the new season of Doctor Who.
But you didn't. But here's the thing: those tuning out, you might have had them if you hadn't gone out and shot your mouth off, Shooty. Is that what they call you, Shooty?
Only 2/3 of the way through this video. Apparently, I don't know how bad it was before, but if it was bad before and then they said they did worse, I mean, I'm kind of glad it's doing bad because that tells me that I was correct and decided to not watch Doctor Who. I loved it when it was in 2005, and then I hated it in 2022 because it was either, I don't know, they had lesbians and gay and bisexuals in 2005. I didn't have a problem with it. Something to do with how it goes woke, where it does things that are just insane, but you can't even explain. It's like that they stop calling me he she. My pronouns are big love magnifico. And if you don't see that right, you should go to jail. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And I reject the insanity of it all. Alright, I gotta end this video. It's way too long. It's almost an hour and a half. See ya. See you guys in the next video.